Hi everyone, I'm Derek. Welcome to There Will Be Cars. On this channel, I review new vehicles that manufacturers send me, and I bring you my driving impressions. So there will be trucks, there will be crossovers, there will be SUVs, and of course, there will be cars. This week I have an SUV. This is the all-new 2022 Lexus LX600. So Lexus completely redid it for 2022. It's got a new platform, new styling, new engine, new technology, and two new trim levels. So you have the standard, the premium, the luxury models, and then on top of those, you have the F Sport handling and this one right here. So as you can tell, Lexus is sticking with the spindle grille design. In this case, there are 7 sets of bars that are carefully sized to maximize airflow to the new engine. I've seen some people online bagging on this grille, and look, there's no getting around the fact that it's absolutely massive. But I think the fact that they used straight bars instead of filling it with mesh kind of distracts from its size a little bit. Plus, it gives it this sturdy, strong, machined look. Up here is one of the biggest updates to the LX600, the all-new engine. Like a lot of companies have done in recent years, Lexus downsized the engine in the new LX600, but it went bigger in terms of output. The LX's new engine is a twin-turbo 3.5-liter V6 that makes 409 horsepower and 429 pound-feet of torque. That's connected to a 10-speed automatic and full-time 4-wheel drive. As you can imagine, switching from a 5.7-liter V8 to a twin-turbo V6 has boosted fuel economy. According to the EPA, the new LX is capable of getting 17 miles per gallon in the city, 22 on the highway, and 19 combined. One thing that contributes to those higher fuel economy numbers is less weight. According to Lexus, they shed 441 pounds going from the last generation LX to this current model. The official max towing capacity for the LX is 8,000 pounds. Along those lines, I will show you the door jamb tag for my tester, and there's an important notice right here. So it says the load carrying capacity has been reduced by 28 pounds because of certain modifications. You get your tire pressures there, and then certain other ratings right here. And then your GVWR and GAWR right there. Lexus not only went big on power, they went big on the wheels. My tester has 22-inch wheels, the largest available on the LX and the largest available in the current Lexus lineup. Up here there's some chrome roof rails with crossbars. In case you were wondering, yes, the new LX does take premium. Back here, got the roof spoiler, and then this full-width light bar, which you've seen on certain other new Lexus vehicles, and then the big bold Lexus lettering right in the middle. Not only is the ultra luxury trim level new to the LX range, it also broadens the price range. So the base model retails for about $88,000. The ultra luxury starts at $127,000. My tester here, as equipped, is $128,000 and change. As I mentioned earlier, the 2022 LX is based on the new GAF platform that's 20% more rigid than the outgoing platform. As far as overall exterior dimensions, Lexus has kept things pretty old school. Its wheelbase is 112 inches, just like it was in 1995. And in terms of off-road angles, according to Lexus, the new LX is the same as the last one. That means the approach angle, departure angle, breakover angle, inclination angle, climbing ability, and water fording depth are the same as they were for the outgoing LX. Suspension changes include 20 more millimeters of rebound stroke and repositioned rear shocks that better follow the movement of the wheels and the rear axle. There's another major change that Lexus made to the suspension for the new LX. The new LX has what's called a spring rate switching device, not only for the front end like before, but for the rear end. That gives the LX the ability to switch ride heights more quickly than before. There are two major technologies at work in the LX's suspension. One of them is called active height control. So that adjusts the height of the vehicle based on a variety of factors like pitch and roll, or acceleration, deceleration, turning, things like that. You can manually adjust the ride height using the buttons in the cabin, or the system will automatically adjust the ride height of the vehicle based on other inputs. So for instance, when you switch from 4 high to 4 low, it automatically boosts the LX to its maximum ride height to give you as much clearance as possible. You can even push a button on the center touchscreen so that when you get out of the vehicle, it automatically drops the suspension to the lowest height to make getting in and out easier. Another major system at work in the LX's suspension is the adaptive variable suspension component. So that changes the softness or firmness of the suspension based on your drive mode. So if you have it in normal mode and go to comfort mode, it's going to provide a softer ride. If you go from comfort to normal to Sport S to Sport S Plus, it's going to make the suspension progressively stiffer so that it can handle better. Please pardon my dust. This is essentially a Land Cruiser, so I've been taking it off-road here and there, so it's getting a little dirty. Once you're inside, you've got the expected mix of leather and wood. You know, you got wood grain inserts here. Got these door pockets, but as you can tell, they're not very large, which is odd considering this is a large vehicle. Piano black trim, one of the speakers for the Mark Levinson sound system, and then your window and mirror controls right here. You've got driver's seat memory, and then you can also control the passenger seat. Then you have all of your power controls for the driver's seat here. Right here, you've got the control for the adjustable thigh bolster, which is a great touch in any vehicle. I definitely love that. These overall are very comfortable seats, and as you can see, they have the Lexus logo on the headrests, contrast stitching, quilting here on the side bolsters. Go ahead and start this up. And normally I would reach right here for the start button, but as you can see, this is completely blank. Got to look a little bit higher, a little too high if you ask me. I'll get into this in the questions and frustrations section of this video. Anyway, hit this, fire it up. And in the middle there, instead of a fully digital screen, as you can tell, it's got a mixture of hard analog gauges and a digital display in the middle. And Lexus has done a pretty nice job as far as hard buttons for certain controls. I mean, I don't feel like any of the stuff over here is especially hard to find. So you got your camera view button right there. You can change the camera feed. So you get this 360 view. And then you get this translucent view to see your surroundings. And down here you have the controls for your power lift gate and to shut off the auto start stop function. Then the controls for the tilt and telescoping steering wheel. Then your lighting controls, and of course you have automatic lighting there and fog lights up front. Then you've got shift paddles, which are kind of an odd touch on an ultra luxury vehicle, but they're there if you need them or want to use them. Then your wiper controls, of course, rain sensing wipers as well. Then you have these wood grain inlays at the top and the bottom of the steering wheel. Of course, your controls for the multi-information display, your phone system, then your voice activated commands, volume controls, and adaptive cruise control and other settings right here. Up top, you've got this rear view mirror camera, which is especially helpful on the highway because you're wheeling around a lot of real estate, so you want to be aware of what's around you at all times. And this gives you a view of what's behind the LX that's not obstructed by headrests or rear bodywork. But if you want to revert to a regular rear view mirror, you just flip that tab and there you go. Up here you have your overhead lighting controls and then the switches for the sunroof. And this is a regular sunroof. It's not a full length, but there's a reason for that. I'll get into that in the second row of seats. And while I'm up here, I thought I should point out, this doesn't have a suede-like microfiber headliner. It's just straight up microfiber. So it doesn't have that feel of suede, but it is very smooth. It feels very refined. It's just a little bit different. That same fabric is on the sun visors. One gripe I have is even though it does feel nice and it does telescope, it doesn't telescope far enough. Just a couple more inches and I'd have full coverage right here. And driving in this Arizona sun, I need as much as I can get because it is brutal. Moving down here, you'll see a first in a Lexus vehicle. This actually has 2 screens. So up top, there's a 12.3 inch screen for your infotainment and basic functions like that. One thing you might be wondering about this 12.3 inch display up here is, does it have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto? Fortunately, the answer is yes. Then here in the middle, you have a 7-inch screen, which you can use to monitor things like the state of your transfer case and your pitch and roll, as well as HVAC functions. Then you have various other climate controls right here. And I've been using this a lot, Climate Concierge. To me, it's like an ultra auto mode. Typically, I don't like auto mode. I find it keeps the fan speed too high. It's just not very comfortable, but this seems to be a nice balance because it coordinates the fan speed, the temperature, your ventilated seats, all of those things to make sure it keeps it at a level that you like. Now, it's not perfect, but it is a lot better than I thought, and I've just left it on. It's been that good. Below that, you have a lot of the various on-road and off-road controls. Drive mode is for on-road driving, and you can use this dial right here to pick the mode that you want. So I'm gonna cycle through the various settings and you'll see them pop up on this center screen. Sorry for the flickering there. So lowest level, you've got Eco if you wanna save some gas, then Comfort, Normal, Sport S. Of course, you can see the gauge changing, Sport S Plus, and then Custom, you can change various settings to your liking. And then this button MTS, that's for the multi-terrain select system. So I hit that button and automatically the suspension is switching to one of its higher settings to give me more ground clearance because it's already received the signal that I want to do some off-roading and it's preparing accordingly. So I'll take you through the various multi-terrain select modes. And to do that, I'm going to use this same dial. So you can use it for on-road and off-road driving. So I'll turn it. You can see there it has an auto mode and that's a first for the LX. Then there's dirt, plenty of that out here. Sand, there's some of that too. Mud, unfortunately not, I wish. Deep snow, yeah, very far from that. And right here you have another off-road button. So this is for downhill assist control, basically hill descent control. That's just Lexus's name for it. And then the crawl control system. Now, in order to use these, you have to be in 4 low. Since this is a full-time 4-wheel drive system, it's always in 4 high. There's no rear-wheel drive setting or anything like that. You're always sending power to all 4 wheels. It's just which speed you want to be in or which range. So, of course, to switch to low range, pop it into neutral, push on this, turn to the left. Now, here's the thing. If I hit this button right now in neutral, nothing happens. It doesn't light up. So I have to put it in drive. Now I can engage it. So you see the crawl control speed there is at its minimum. Turns off traction control. Here's a helpful tip about adjusting the crawl control speed. You might be wondering, okay, well, how do I do that? Do I use this as a paddle? No, this is just a button. It works one way. You also cannot use the shift paddles to adjust the crawl control speed. You use this dial once again to adjust the crawl control speed. So I'm going to turn it to the right and you're going to see it steps up the speed. Turn it to the left, exact opposite. Down here you have the auto settings for the 2-stage steering wheel heater and for the 3-stage front seat ventilation and heating controls. And further back there's a textured mat, so if you want to put your cell phone or your wallet there. Then you've got a couple of USB charging options here. Then there's this nice traditional shifter, nothing fancy, nothing too techy. It's old-fashioned, it works. A couple of cup holders here of different sizes. And there's also some lighting as well. And another textured storage tray. Then the controls for your electronic parking brake, the brake hold function, the locking center diff, traction control, and then the controls for the adjustable suspension. All right, let's take a look at the back row of the LX. So We've got more wood trim here, manual side sunshades. These have definitely come in handy. Got piano black trim here, these door sill plates, more quilting. So up top I have an HVAC vent, I've got a grab handle, got a place to hang dry cleaning or anything like that. There's also a top mounted speaker. You got your overhead lighting here. Right in front of me, I have my own TV screen in the back of the front headrest. So I can use this to change, various media settings, things like that. And to go along with that is a pair of wireless infrared headphones that fit nicely in this rear storage compartment. Up front here, there's two more vents, one for each side. Then you might notice that there's this, what appears to be a button right here. And at first I thought, oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just a molding or a blank. But yeah, you can actually use it to get to the cool box from the second row. Right here, you've got two compartments. One is for your various charging and infotainment options to take advantage of these dual screens. The other is a little hard to see. In fact, I had to get out of the vehicle just to get a better angle on this, but it's just a lined little storage compartment right there. Up top is another compartment with a pair of cup holders. And finally, you have a wireless charging pad that the rear passengers can use. And you might have noticed this. Yes, it is a screen. You hit the home button, and this is getting us into what makes the ultra luxury the ultra luxury. So you've got various options for adjusting the seats right here, but I'm going to take you to the main menu just to start from there. So I'm going to go into the audio menu, and you can actually adjust it for various positions in the vehicle. So you can adjust the master audio controls, turn it off, adjust the volume, pick the source. You can also fine tune it for whichever seat you want to control. So, same basic idea here for the individual second row seats. So you have two separate climate zones back here. So you have quad zone climate control in the LX. Then you've got your auto mode, and then your ventilated and heated seat controls and various other settings. And then the seat, there are certain adjustments you can make to the left side, but as you can tell, you cannot move the seat forward or backward on the left side behind the driver. So that's kind of a bummer. What's cool about this is you can actually set a memory for a rear seat. I've been teasing it long enough, so now I'm going to show you the party piece of the LX600 Ultra Luxury. Let's get into it. In order to set this vehicle up the right way and take full advantage of this VIP seat, I'm going to start with the front passenger seat. So to get that out of the way, I'm going to hit this middle button, and it's going to take care of the rest. It's moving it forward, it's tilting the headrest down, moving it forward even more. So now you've got all this leg room, right? Well, it gets even better than that. Now I'm going to hit this button to deploy the footrest. Yeah, Lexus went all out for this one lucky individual in the back. The next stage in getting ultra luxury out of the LX600 is hitting this button, and it automatically tilts the seat back. So you get that nice relaxed angle. And this button right here allows you to have things both ways with that screen. So if you want to watch the screen, if you can see it well from where you are, you can have it up. But if you're getting too much glare off of it, or you just don't want it in your way, you just hold down this far right button and it flattens it for you. All right, time to enjoy some VIP seating in the back of the LX600. Got it waiting for me. This was really nice. The other night I picked up my fiance from the airport. She'd had a long week. She'd been traveling. She was tired, so I wanted to make it nice for her. So I had this all set up and ready to go when I picked her up. This is really nice back here. I'm at a comfortable angle. I got this cushy headrest. I got this ceiling mounted HVAC vent blowing cool air on me. There's an even bigger one right over me, directly above me. So I get a nice breeze from that. I've got the ventilated seat rocking and rolling, but it gets even better. I'll show you how. Now, I spent a while on the various options in this menu here, but I didn't show all of them to you. So there's this tab right here, relaxation. So you have all these various massage modes for the left and right seats, and you can adjust the intensity. So I've got it maxed out on level 5 right now. It's been a long day, so I'm gonna do full body refresh. This is not a perfect vehicle. There are some confusing and frustrating things about it that I'm gonna get into. I touched on this earlier, or rather I didn't, because I was reaching in the wrong area, is the placement of certain controls. I'm used to getting into a vehicle and hitting the start-stop button somewhere on the center console, further up front, or to the right of the steering wheel in that area that I'm pointing to right now. But Lexus put the start-stop button all the way on the top screen surround, which is just not natural. It's not intuitive to me. It just seems oddly placed, out of place. And that's especially true for the volume control. It's way up there and it's far away. You know, I have the seat adjusted to my height, and you know, I've got long arms too, but that volume control button is just in a terribly inconvenient spot. Here's another weird thing about the interior of the LX600 Ultra Luxury. And I said its full name to drive home the point that this is the most luxurious version of the new LX that you can get. As equipped, this is $128,000 in change. The other night I was out with family, and 2 of my family members were riding in the back seats. So they were taking advantage of the ventilated seats and the massage modes and everything. And I thought, okay, well, I'm gonna get the massage modes rocking up in the front row. So I reached down to the side of the seat to see if there was a button or something that I could press to get the massage mode going. There wasn't anything on the door panel. I couldn't find anything in the main menu or even the secondary screen. And there's a reason for that. The front seats don't offer massage at all. It's almost as if you're getting penalized for deciding, okay, you know what? I'm gonna treat my rear passengers, whenever we go on trips, to the most comfortable, adjustable, posh seats possible, because you don't get the same benefit. A major update that Lexus made to the 4-wheel drive system for the LX for 2022 is the fact that you can use the multi-terrain select system in 4-low as before, but now you can also use it in 4-high. As you can see, there are various other readouts for when you're going off-road in the LX. So you've got your brake and accelerator meters, then the level of the air suspension also shows you which way and how much you have the front wheels turned, the state of the transfer case, the multi-terrain select system, and then you have your pitch and roll right there. This top screen does its part while you're off-road too. So in addition to the various infotainment functions, things like that, if I hit this button on the left here, brings up my different off-road camera options. So I can see what's next to the front wheels, and I can see what's in front of me. If I hit this button again, I get an enhanced view that shows me what's in front of me and where my wheels are in relation to it. So as you can see, I'm coming up on a rut. It shows exactly where the front end is going in relation to that. If I hit this button, I can see what the back end is doing as well. There was no way I could spend a week in the new LX and not take it off-road and get it dirty. So let's hit the trail. This part of the trail gives me the perfect opportunity to use the LX's rock mode and certain other features. So I'll put it in neutral, 4-low, and to use the downhill assist control or crawl control, I have to put it back into drive, hit that, and I have the crawl control at the slowest speed. Now I'm back at the top of the hill because I want to show you what I see and what the cameras are showing me as I go down and back up again. I'm going to put it in neutral, put it in low range. I'm going to lock the center diff. The suspension is already at its max height. Put it in drive. Now I'm going to put it in rock mode. The suspension is at its H2 setting, so it's as high as it'll go. And I'm going to use the downhill assist and crawl control. So it's at its lowest speed right now, which will be good. And I'm going to use the downhill assist and crawl control at its lowest setting to start with. As you can see, it's showing me which direction the front wheels are turned and what I'm going to encounter as I go along. And it's also got the side views. Here we go. Nice and slow. It's going to kick in here in a second. Going down at a little bit of an angle, but it's not too steep. And since I'm going at a low speed, the camera stays on. I have it in its automatic setting, but if you go above 8 miles an hour, it cuts out so that you're not distracted. Yeah, real smooth, very quiet. Allows me to just tiptoe to the bottom and not worry about bottoming out and dragging the chin. Same with the back end. So what I could do to turn around is go along in this trail and do a 50-point turn in one of these clearings and then head back the other direction. That's kind of a pain in the butt. So what I'm going to do is back up, which will give you all a great shot of what the back end is doing. So it's a little trippy watching this view, but once you get used to the distortion and the warping, you can actually use it to your advantage. I'm going to pop it into drive. Gives me the front end view automatically. Nothing too gnarly there. No big thunks or thuds or crashes. All right, now time to go up. So I'm gonna set the crawl control to its lowest speed again, just to get over these rocks, and then once I hit that dirt stretch, I'll dial it up. Now I'm out of the rocks for the most part, so I'll dial up the speed to mid-level. And then, yeah, as you're coming up, yeah, you can see not only where the wheels are going, but where you want them to go. And I'm good on both sides. So this is a very helpful technology. I like this. Good morning, everyone. I just made another stop at the gas station, which is a frequent occurrence in this vehicle. It is more fuel efficient than the outgoing model, but it is still thirsty. According to the onboard gauge, I've been averaging 16.3 miles per gallon. But if you're in the market for a $128,000 vehicle, then gas prices probably aren't the biggest concern to you. I have to say, I do have some issues with some of the choices made about the interior. But once I'm inside and on the road and moving, I don't have any problems with it. It's quiet, it's comfortable, especially for a body-on-frame vehicle. You know, this is probably the most comfortable body-on-frame four-wheel drive vehicle I've ever driven. The adaptive variable suspension just does a great job of soaking up bumps and making imperfections in the road a lot less noticeable. And I love the fact that there are the various drive settings. In normal mode, this is already comfortable enough, but you can take that up a notch and switch this into comfort mode. In comfort mode, the LX doesn't pitch or waddle or anything like that. It's not sloppy, it's just comfortable. You know, I think certain manufacturers can go a little overboard in their comfort settings to the point where even though the suspension is soft, you're not all that happy with the ride experience because it's pitching you around everywhere. I would rather a suspension be a little stiffer just to control the body motion. But in comfort mode, the LX doesn't have any of those bad tendencies. Normal mode is great too. You know, it's not quite as cushy as comfort, but it's not flinty, it's not stiff, it's not harsh. I'm about to get on another highway on the way to the office, but this will give me a chance to put the LX into its Sport S and Sport S Plus modes. Now, certain vehicles just have one sport mode, so it's kind of surprising that Lexus gave the ultra luxury model an additional sport mode. Okay, so I'm going to turn the dial. Normal, Sport S, the revs jump up, the gauge display changes, so of course it's got red to make it look sportier. Nice shorthand there. All right, now let's open it up. Definitely willing to rev. It's definitely got passing power. Even when you're already doing highway speeds, you put your foot into it and it's ready to go. No matter how you get the new LX, it's well over 5,000 pounds. And certain models as equipped are pushing the 3-ton mark. But it definitely has the power to keep up with all of that weight. Overall, the 2022 Lexus LX600 is a great driving experience. It's quiet, it's comfortable, the steering and the brakes are well tuned. Everything seems to be in sync, which makes sense because this is one of the newest vehicles with the new Lexus driving signature. I'd like to thank you for watching my review of the 2022 Lexus LX600 Ultra Luxury. If you liked what you saw, please go ahead and click the like button. And if you're not a subscriber to There Will Be Cars already, it would be great if you would become one. Just click the subscribe button and click the bell to get notifications about new videos. I'm always releasing new content on There Will Be Cars, and I hope you're here to see it. Stay tuned for my review of the 2022 Lexus UX.